one of my beautiful, awesome, amazing friends, Geneva, asked me if I could tell her about the ISS. Bro, yes. Absolutely freaking yes. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm really just gonna back dump. I pulled up the NASA fact sheet thing and I copy and pasted it, and then I added like my own stuff in here. So yeah, whenever talking about the ISS, I always just like to start off by saying that it travels at 17,500 miles per hour, and it's about the size of a football field, because I feel like that's pretty crazy. I'm pretty sure Sputnik Sputnik 2 maybe, I don't remember, but one of the Sputniks traveled at like 18,500 miles per hour. But if it goes any slower, then it's gonna fall out of Earth's orbit, because the ISS is in low Earth orbit, so about 250 miles up from Earth's surface. It's also, so the ISS, International Space Station, is an international partnership between NASA, which is America, Roscosmos, which is Russia, ESA, which is the European Space Agency, CSA, which is Canada, and JAXA, which is Japan. I think right now there's NASA astronauts. Chris Williams just went home, so just come here, Jack Hathaway, and then ESA, Sophie Enoff from France. And then I'm not good with my cosmonauts. I need to get better at that, but the rest are cosmonauts. So the space station has also been continuously occupied since 2000, specifically November 2000. I think it was like November 1st, November 2nd, 2000, which is crazy because if you think about it, at least since 2000, not every human has been on Earth. Like, that's just so crazy to me. When I first heard that, I was like, whoa. But that was the start of Expedition 1. They launched on October 31st, 2000 and landed March 21st, 2001. So Expedition 1 was combined of William Shepard, who was NASA, Sergei Krikalev, and Yuri Gidzenko, who were cosmonauts. They were brought up on a Soyuz TM-31, and they were brought down on STS-102 on Discovery. I love Discovery. And they spent about 136 days in orbit, I believe. So. But the ISS orbits every 90 minutes. Every 45 minutes, they see a sunrise. Every 45 minutes, they see a sunset. And that's about, if you do the math, that's actually, I'm pretty sure it's actually 16 orbits per day. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. There are typically 7 people on board of the combination of those partnerships, of those agencies. But like I said, NASA, ESA, and Roscosmos are the only ones up there right now. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I don't think there's a CSA. Otherwise, there would be a Canadian up there, but I'm pretty sure it's just those 3. But during the past crew handover, which happened, was it July 26th, I think? No, July 26th, I think they came home. The 3 came home. Chris Hadfield and the 2 other cosmonauts. Chris Hadfield. Okay, anyways, and the 2 other cosmonauts came home. So but I think there was 10 people. I'm pretty sure there was 10 people when MS-29 launched. Whatever day that was, I think like July 17th or something. I have no idea. But, and then now there's 7 people, back to 7 people. So, and usually when they go up and down, it's like 3 people, and it's been like that since Expedition 1. So, here we go. So during the shuttle missions, I think it was, oh yeah, it was STS-102 was the first kind of handout. So the launch crew had like 4 people. Wait. So they launched with 7 people, but 4 of those people were actual crew members. They're like the commander, pilot, and the mission specialist to do whatever work they were sent up to do on the ISS. It was probably, I'm pretty sure it was like ISS supply. And then, they brought up the Expedition Crew 2 with them, and then they dropped crew, it would not be Crew 2, the Expedition 2 crew off at the ISS and took home Expedition 1 on Discovery. And that's pretty much how all the, like, handouts worked with the shuttles. I'm sure the Soyuz ones were the same, or at least similar. I'm not sure though, because of course this is from NASA's website, so all the information they have on here is relevant to Americans, which is kind of sucky. But you know, I think most, up until of course like the shuttles, up until like the shuttles programs and the end of the shuttle program, there was, I'm pretty sure like most of the handoffs were done by the shuttles, by the American program, except for that time period. I think it was like where after the Columbia disaster, so I think it was like February 1st 2003 or somewhere around that, to I think in 2005 when they got the shuttle program back up, and then they started the handoffs again, I think. Yeah. So here, I didn't know this, but I watched a video with Reed Wiseman interviewing about the ISS, and he said some American guy had like the US record, and then a cosmonaut had the like real record for, I think like it was like over 1,000 days in the ISS. But updated, Peggy Whitson has the new record, the most time spent, 665 days in 2017. So that's pretty cool. Also, I didn't realize this before like copying and pasting this fact sheet, but I knew that like in microgravity, like it ruins your muscle mass. Like there's so many effects that microgravity has on your body and being in it for long periods of time. But I didn't know that astronauts work out at least 2 hours a day. That's crazy. Like I would always see, you know, of course I follow all of the freaking astronauts on Instagram. So of course like Sophie Adon is like always posting like her workouts. So of course I would see that, but I just didn't really think, wow, they work out a lot. I just thought she was like fit. Like, but that's mandatory. So they actually have a gym on the ISS. And I think it was Jessica Meir posted recently a video of her doing sit-ups in front of the cupola. That was pretty cool. Okay. And also a big part of the ISS is spacewalks, of course. A lot of the spacewalks that you see of recent, or actually all of the spacewalks that you see of recent are from the ISS. I personally think a lot of the cooler ones came from the ISS too, from like the shuttle program came from the ISS. Which I'll have to like talk about that. I think I'm gonna talk about that in a second, because I like don't shut up about this. But so the most recent one was with June 30th. Jessica Meir and Chris Williams to fix the Canadarm. And there is an upcoming one. I know they're having a press conference for it tomorrow. I don't know who is gonna be on it or what it's for, but usually there's, I think like 3 spacewalks like there's usually 3 spacewalks every expedition, and the max amount of hours they can be is 9 hours. I think the record for the ISS is 8 hours and 54 minutes. So but usually they're like, I think they're usually like around 7 hours. So but with the Canadarm, I freaking love the Canadarm, bro. Like, I can talk all day about a freaking Canadarm. So the one on the ISS is the Canadarm too, but all of the shuttles had a Canadarm, which is like what they did use to like hold up the supply, to bring the supply that they were, the cargo that they were bringing from the shuttle to build whatever. So in this case, it was the ISS. And so the Canadarm, bro. So the ISS started from Zarya, right? And the first mission to add on to Zarya, which to become the ISS, was STS-88 in 1998. So a lot of the end of the shuttle program was focused on the ISS. Like, most of the later shuttle missions were ISS missions. Some were Hubble. I think some were just like general. But I'm pretty sure the first flight back after Columbia was an ISS mission. But so STS-88 in 1998. But since then, there has been 42 assembly flights. 37 were from shuttles, and 5 were from Russian rockets. But so, like, all of the later ones, there's 135 shuttle missions. All the later ones were from, most of the later ones were for the ISS. I love the ISS. Okay. But I think most of the shuttle missions that to assemble it were during the 2000s. There was a lot during the 2000s. And so, back to the Canadarm. So Chris Hadfield, who was commander of the ISS. This is kind of just a quick side note. So while I think STS-100, they installed the Canadarm2 onto the ISS, and so they pulled up in Endeavour to install the Canadarm2 on the ISS, and Chris Hadfield was literally just flying around on a freaking Canadarm. That's how I like to describe it. It probably was not like that, but so for some of the spacewalks, they would connect each other to, they would connect like the astronauts to the Canadarm that's on the shuttle to help them move around. And so Chris Hadfield was on the Canadarm installing another Canadarm onto the ISS. And then this was when like the robotic handshake in space happened. I think it's known as the Canadian handshake. Although if you Google it, that's not what it's, that's, I don't know. I just love the Canadarm. Like, I go to see like a confidential test Canadarm at the NOAA facility in Vermont. Bro, I just love the Canadarm. It's so cool. It's just so cool. I love the Canadarm. Oh, I also learned this. 8 spaceships can be connected to the space station at once. So 8 spaceships can be docked to the ISS at once. That's crazy. I don't know if there's ever been more than one, but I guess it's possible. Which, by the way, the first shuttle to dock to the ISS was Discovery. That's why Discovery is my favorite. Yeah, and it takes about like 3 to 4 hours to get to the ISS. Yep. Oh, okay. So another thing that's pretty cool is that there's been tons and tons of research done on the ISS. I mean, like, that's what they're there for, to do research, space science stuff in microgravity off the Earth. So there's actually this whole website on NASA, It's where you can literally, it's like a database of all of the stuff that they've done on the ISS, all of the research that they've done. Yeah, through all the expeditions. They have up to 87 on here, but I'm pretty sure they don't have anything filed under those. It's so cool. And so it's not like full scientific papers. They're like condensed for it to be accessible. Like that's kind of the purpose of it, for the science to be accessible. So it's really cool. If you're ever bored in class, I think it's like, wait, nasa.gov/mission/station/research-explorer. More than 20 different. Oh, and something else I learned, because this is actually really cool. I need to start looking at these fact sheets more. The space station travels an equivalent distance to the moon and back in about a day. That's so cool. Like, I guess I just never really thought about it. Like, that really does make sense. 200, is it like 250 miles? But back, that's crazy. So, like, that's like 500,000 plus miles. That's so cool. That's so cool. Wait, no, that's like 700,000. Yo, I don't know, it's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. And of course, there's a bunch of code and software on the ISS to keep it running. 50 computers control the systems on the space station. 3 million lines of software code on ground support more than 1.5 million lines of flight software code. Okay, and this is probably gonna be my last thing, or else I'll actually talk about the ISS for like 50 million years. They are dismantling the ISS in the 2030s. Actually, don't talk to me about that. It's so Point Nemo, like the most remote place on Earth. Okay. Sorry, I'm kind of distracted right now. Point Nemo, that's where they're planning on having the ISS fall into low Earth. Basically, just burn up. They're just gonna burn up the ISS. Yes, you heard me right. So they're gonna dismantle it like piece by piece, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, piece by piece, sending a full fireball of like a football field to Point Nemo is actually insane. They're definitely doing it piece by piece. And they're okay, so it's gonna fall into low Earth orbit, and it's gonna end up burning up in low Earth orbit. There's no like heat shields or anything to protect it. It's just gonna like fall and die, which is like, it's so sad. I think because they can't like, I think there might be some parts of it that they're going to like try to like recover for museums and stuff. But like, it actually makes me so sad that I won't be able to see the ISS in person. Like, they'll probably take like the like mock-up that they have in Houston and put it in like Huntsville or something, so like you can like see it, kind of like what it would have looked like. But like what they did with the shuttle at Dayton, but like it's not the ISS, like, because I freaking love the ISS. Like, all I ever wanted, like, I just want to teleport to the ISS. Like, I don't want to be an astronaut. I'm scared of everything that astronauts do. But if that's what it took to get me to the ISS, I'm gonna freaking do it all. I'm gonna freaking do everything. Everything that I can. Just so I can go to the freaking ISS. And, of course, they're dismantling it. So, I'll never be able to go to the ISS. And I'll never get to see the actual ISS. Well, like, I can look up and see it, but I won't see it, like, zoomed in. Because it's gonna be burned up and gone. You know what? I'm blaming this on Jared Isaacman. That freaking chud of a dude, bro. I will probably cry. Yeah, no, I am gonna, that's not a probably, I am going to cry when they dismantle the first piece. They'll probably, knowing NASA, sick people, like, they're probably gonna live stream it too. So, I'll be watching the live streams and I'll be crying. And I'll cry for the next week, like I cried when Amber Glenn popped her triple loop. Okay, I'm gonna stop being sad about the ISS, because I'm actually freaking chud. So yeah, that's the ISS, and I love the ISS so much, and I hope I can get the Lego set of the ISS.